Hey, okay people, I'm really excited to be over at Dave's shop. Dave is our master woodturner over at Organized Chaos. He's a mentor to some of our students, and he has invited us in to show us a little bit about what tools we should be using when we're turning. And so I'm gonna hand it over to Dave now as we get into his shop.
Hello, my name is Dave, and I want to show you some of the basic woodworking tools that we have for wood turning. There are many different tools that are on the market, but there's only a half a dozen or so that are really essential to producing all kinds of interesting things. The first one is a roughing chisel, and there's two different versions of it here. One is larger than the other than that they're the same. With any of these tools, it's very important that you have really good control, and so it's important that you have one hand on the tool rest to control the angle of the cut and the bevel of the cut, and the other on the end of the handle. I see people turning like this, and it's not a good idea, but that tool is very useful, and it allows you to take a rough piece of square timber and reduce it to a cylinder from which you can make all kinds of things. Second tool I want to talk about is a scraper. This is a round nose scraper. Once again, with any of these tools, it's important that you keep the tool sharp. It's much safer to cut with a sharp tool. There are different sizes of round nose scrapers. They're useful for shaping the outside of say a bowl, or even the inside if you want to, although there is a better way of doing that. Once again, it's important that you learn how to hold that chisel and how to introduce it to the wood. If you don't, you'll get a catch, and that can be damaging to your project. The third tool, a very useful tool, is a bowl gouge. And these are available in many different sizes. This is a 1/2-inch gouge. And when you are hollowing out a bowl, it's a very useful tool for taking the centers out. And the key on this one is to know how to introduce it to your work. If you jab it in, it's going to catch you, it's going to ruin your work. You want to make sure that when you introduce it, you're rubbing on the bevel and then slowly bring it up and turn it until you get a shaving to suit your particular purpose. The fourth piece that I want to talk about, or the fourth chisel, is a parting tool. And this is only useful for one thing, and that is for cutting off the work from the stock when it's on the lathe. And there's two ways of doing it. If you're good at it, you can cut it right through and catch it in your hand without it ever being a problem. It just lands there. But if you're not, I suggest for the beginning, cut it down to about a 1-inch spigot, and then take a small saw and saw it off and finish it that way.
Dave, thank you for showing us what tool we should be using when we're on the lathe for all sorts of different jobs. I had one more question for you, and that is, what is one thing you wish you knew before you got into woodworking?
Sean, that's a difficult question, and I don't think there's an easy answer. But working with young people at OK, I have a message for them. No matter what you're doing, early in life, try to learn the difference between ambition and greed. Ambition is a good thing. Greed is never a good thing. And I think that would be the one thing that I'd like to leave them with. Enjoy your woodworking, work safely, and good luck.
Thank you, Dave. So if you're stopping by for the first time, or you've been with us for a while and are interested, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you back in our shop soon. Hey, do you know which one of these I'm supposed to use?